How's it, guys? Our next focus will be our off the pitch mentality. We'll be focusing on 6 points, 6 aspects, as we've spoken about. Our first one is balance, our balance when we're not on the pitch. Our second one is, are we working hard enough? Are we putting in the hard yards? Our third one is creating connections within the team. Our fourth one is tactical understanding. Our fifth one is understanding your role in the team environment. And the sixth one is not cheating yourself. Okay, we're gonna go with the first one. Our first one is obviously balance. Within the balance is a vicious triangle, obviously understanding between work, play, and social. And it's so important that you get 2 out of 3 in the triangle. You can't have all 3 at the same time. We are humans, so it's very important that you're able to balance between your work, school, or university environment, our play, which is our actual hockey, and our social life, which is our connections with our friends. It's so important that you get 2 out of the 3 instead of going for all 3, or you'll burn yourself out. Focus on 2 aspects, whether it be work, school, university, or play which is hockey and your social life, or your work and social life. It's so important that you understand how to balance those 2, because you end up burning out, you use unnecessary energy, and sometimes you might feel like some parts are not getting enough time or treatment. So it's so important that we balance those. 2, are you putting in the hard yards? Are you taking the time to go to gym, to do that extra bit of running, to make sure that you're upping your sprint repeat times when you're not with the team? Are you doing extra work when no one is looking, when you want to make sure that you take yourself to the next level, especially if you want to make it into a provincial team or a national team? So it takes all those aspects, making sure that you get yourself to the next level. Our third one is obviously creating connections within a team environment or non-related hockey environments. Okay, so it's so important that you understand what type of personalities that you have within that team, and you create those connections by just understanding where your teammates come from, getting to know them a little bit on a personal level, making sure that you have touching or rubbing shoulders on something that you can both relate about, or you're either from the same school and you're struggling to connect with another person from a different school in a provincial setup, and you just need to take the time to just get to know them, put a little bit of yourself out there in order for both of you to reciprocate and to talk. And those are the ways that you can take in order to create connections, especially when you're in an environment where it's a national setup or provincial setup. So it's so important that you just understand the personalities that you are working with. Fourth point is tactical understanding. I think a lot of goalkeepers haven't focused on this aspect much of late. It's so important to understand the tactics, especially within your team environment, especially in a competitive environment too. You have to understand the tactics because you have to communicate with your defenders, your link line, and potentially your striker line when everyone's deep inside the 25. You have to know what's going on. You have to understand what the coach wants us to do, and you have to be able to project that information to your players, because sometimes their heartbeat might be going at 180, and you have to just remind them that this is the job for this specific aspect of the game, and that's how you end up becoming a better and well-managed team, because everyone understands what their role is, first things first, and you understand what your role within the team is, and you understand the tactics and what needs to be done and achieved in order for the team to be successful. Sometimes you get it wrong, sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it half wrong and right. And sometimes there might be arguments between players because of misunderstandings. That's why you've got to take the information with a pinch of salt. So important that you're able to communicate those things with each other. The more trust is developed, the better the communication becomes, and I think it will end up being a team morale booster, especially when all players understand each other. And fifth one is understanding your role within a team. There'll be funny characters, there'll be the serious characters, there'll be leadership traits, there'll be there'll be guys that are really weird, and you have to just sort of find your dynamic and find what type of personality you are and sort of mingle it into the team environment. Goalkeepers are normally figured as weird personalities, so to say, because we're actually brave at what we do. Not many people can actually goalkeep, so it's very important that you have to be fearless as a goalkeeper. Sometimes you might voice yourself in the most unnecessary or unthought about moments, and you just have to go with it. And yeah, that's what it's all about, finding the type of personality to fit the team's mold. And that's the most important part. You have to just work with your players and your teammates in order to find that. And last but not least, don't cheat yourself. Do the extra yards. If it means that your coach or your trainer sends you information, make sure that you're doing it in order to better yourself. And the more you take the time to be coachable, the more lessons it takes on your own life, and you'll start becoming better at a lot of things, and your decision making actually improves. So it's so important to not cheat yourself.